Good afternoon. Our goal should be to live life in radical amazement, to get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Everything is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. Never treat life casually. To be spiritual is to be amazed. This quote is by one of my heroes, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, a Jewish thought leader and a close friend of Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm Lisa Engel, current president of the Birmingham Jewish Federation, and today I take these words of Rabbi Heschel to heart. As I welcome you to the BJF's first virtual annual meeting, I come to you with amazement. This has been a tough 6 months for all of us, dealing with illness, isolation, social distancing, schedule disruptions, families quarantined, and more. But you, my friends, have been amazing. You have welcomed our new CEO, Danny Cohn, with open arms and open heart. You have responded to our COVID emergency campaign generously, supporting Jewish and general community members in need. You are responding to the BJF annual campaign equally generously, giving what you were able and even giving a little more because you know the needs are so great right now. You are turning out to volunteer where it is safe for all of our agencies and our synagogues. And every day, despite your personal obstacles, you are embracing the Jewish value of tikkun olam, repairing the world. There are other reasons that I go to sleep with gratitude and wake up with amazement each day. Our new CEO, Danny, has been nothing short of amazing to work with. He arrived as COVID hit, but he has totally embraced our Jewish community, both in person and virtually. He has hit the ground running, and our federation is touching so many lives through funding, programming, convening, and collaborating. Our daily calls and meetings energize me, and our partnership has been filled with both hard work and fun. I am also amazed at what our small but mighty staff accomplishes superbly. And I thank Kim, Tiffany, Florina, Susan, Joyce, Sarah, and our newest team member who is starting tomorrow, Anita. They are truly an in-sync team. And I am amazed at the passion and purpose of our whole Birmingham Jewish community. Our agencies, the Levitt Jewish Community Center, Kalat Jewish Family Services, Annie Miles Jewish Day School, and the Birmingham Holocaust Education Center are working together closer than ever before, led by exceptional teams of professionals and lay leaders. You will see short vignettes today highlighting their outstanding work. Our houses of worship, Temple Emmanuel, Temple Bethel, Knesset Israel, and Chabad are also collaborating, welcoming new leadership, and leading the way in engagement. I don't take all of this for granted, and I hope you join me today in radical amazement for the wonder of our special Jewish community. Like me, I hope that you are inspired by all of those here today and that you find your place to get involved. Please call Danny or me with your interests and passions, and we will find the right place for you throughout our community. Thanks to each of you for taking your important time to join us today. We will have the pleasure of presenting 2 important annual awards. Issa Dorsky will receive the Joni Plausebear Young Leadership Award, and Fran Godshaw will receive the Susan J. Goldberg Distinguished Volunteer Award. Congratulations to both of these strong, confident, and compassionate women. We will also thank our departing board members who are rolling off the BJF board this year and welcome our new board members who now start their terms. I want to give an extra shout out to our 2019-2020 board for the extraordinary amount of time they gave this past year during the search process for our new CEO. As you can imagine, with interviewing, processing, and making decisions, it was a busy year, and we wouldn't be here with Danny as our CEO if it wasn't for their dedication and wisdom. So please accept my heartfelt thank you for a job well done. The Joni Plausebear Young Leadership Award is named for an extraordinary woman who passed away at the time when she herself was an outstanding young leader in our Jewish community. For those of us who remember Joni, her light still shines brightly in our hearts. She was beloved by all. She was kind to everyone. She was a great listener, and she was committed passionately to Jewish life throughout the world. Like her Milwaukee family, Joni was indeed a pillar of our community, and she energetically took on any leadership task, mentoring others like me who followed her. As her family told me, Joni was a beautiful soul. We lost a great one when she died. The Young Leadership Award was aptly named for Joni in 1985, the year following her death. It is given annually by the officers of the Federation to a volunteer 40 or under who has distinguished themselves through their involvement in the Federation and the community. Issa Dorsky, this year's winner, follows in Joni's path through her quiet passion and her wholehearted dedication to all of Jewish Birmingham.
It is my honor to present Issa with the Joni Plausebear Young Leadership Award. Issa, when thinking about you and what makes you the remarkable young leader you are, I am reminded of Sarah, the matriarch of the Jewish people. I know you're thinking, how are Sarah and I alike? But believe it or not, you have a lot in common. Sarah was known for her graciousness, hospitality, and care for others. Issa, you too open your home and your heart to our community. You were an active member of the You Belong in Birmingham Committee from 2009 to 2016, extending kindness and ensuring that young people would be connected and made to feel welcome in their new home. You served as co-chair of the Friedman Family Jewish Food and Culture Fest for 4 years, another example of your generous hospitality and love of our Jewish community. In 2019, you decided it was time for you to take a break, but when the committee couldn't find anyone to be the chair, you wholeheartedly took on the responsibility and ensured that the event was a success. You are committed to sharing our culture with others and welcoming the community into our JCC home. Sarah was also faithful, steadfast, and loyal. Issa, when you attended college at the University of Alabama, you were instrumental in revitalizing the Hillel program. You served on the Bama Hillel Board of Directors from 2009 to 2019, 10 consecutive years. Today, in part because of your efforts, Hillel is thriving at the university, which has had a positive effect on recruiting Jewish students to Alabama. If that isn't an example of loyalty, commitment, and devotion, I don't know what is. Although Sarah was the co-leader of the Jewish people, she didn't enjoy being in the limelight and gladly gave that honor to her husband, Abraham. Like Sarah, Issa, you do not enjoy being the center of attention, nor do you need recognition or praise. As the member of the Next Generation Roadmap and Reimagined Jewish Birmingham committees, you shared your vision, ideas, and opinions in a quiet and respectful manner. Additionally, you were an active participant on the Birmingham Jewish Federation CEO Search Committee, where you planned and executed each of the candidates' visits. You typed the agendas, coordinated appointments, and made welcome baskets. You helped sell our community in a generous and loving way. You can always be counted on to follow up and follow through. Sarah was also known as a prophetess. Issa, your insights, observations, and intuition have been extraordinarily beneficial to the LJCC, where you serve on the board and the executive committee. And lastly, Issa, Sarah had a strong commitment and dedication to her family. Your parents, Lori and Stephen Dorsky, have been wonderful role models for you as they have served on the boards of most of the Jewish organizations in town. You shared a loving and close relationship with your grandmothers, Ellen Dorsky and Sissy Toronto. I'm convinced that they are in heaven zooming in and are so very proud of you. On behalf of the Birmingham Jewish Federation, I thank you for everything you do for our community and look forward to your continued involvement. Mazel tov.
Thank you, Lisa and Susan, for the kind words and introduction, and thank you also to the Birmingham Jewish Federation board and staff for this honor. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, who have also been engaged in our community over many years with several organizations in our community. Congratulations also to Fran on receiving the Susan J. Goldberg Distinguished Volunteer Award. I grew up with Susan Goldberg's daughter, and Susan was one of my Brownie troop leaders. I know she would be honored to have you win this award in her memory. I'm truly honored and appreciative to be the recipient of the Joni Plausebear Young Leadership Award this year. On Passover, we ask, why is this night different from all other nights? Having now lived through 6 months of the coronavirus, we could ask the question, why is this year different from all other years? We are all living in an unprecedented time and are learning how to navigate through this life from a distance. For the past half of a year, we've all had to pivot and figure out how to connect more intentionally, whether it be by Zoom baking sessions through You Belong in Birmingham, flower arranging classes with friends while socially distanced outside, watching a Camp Barney Meddance Havdalah service on Facebook, serving lunches to the JCC to students and families who relied on school lunch programs, and many other ways. Our community organizations have all done amazing things and have adapted to continue offering their normal, ever-important services, along with the creation of new programming and social services to engage and support our community members. Growing up and choosing to live as an adult in Birmingham, I have had to act intentionally about my Judaism to make sure that I had the opportunities I wanted while living in the Bible Belt. When I started college at the University of Alabama, Hillel, the Jewish student organization on campus, didn't have much to offer. So I, along with several friends, were intentional about helping rebrand and rebuild it to become a thriving organization and a place where students want to be. I attribute this time to when I really found my passion for engagement in Jewish leadership. More recently, I've been on the LJCC Executive Committee and part of the Next Gen and Reimagine Jewish Birmingham processes to help make sure our Birmingham Jewish community will be around for many generations to come. In the coming weeks, we will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, most of us in a very different way than how we are used to. Would it be easy to skip the virtual service? Yes. But I encourage everyone to make an intentional effort to be present and connect with your Judaism in whatever way makes the most sense to you. In the next 2.5 weeks until Rosh Hashanah, stop and take a moment each day. Be intentional. Take a breath. Reflect on the past year. Forget the insanity of 2020, and remember the positive things that have happened in your life during this time. Thank you.
Oh, hey! I didn't see you there. You caught me doing some gardening out here in my butterfly garden. It's my little lockdown project. I'm Jesse Unkenholtz, and if you're like me, you're a board member of the BJF and president of the LJCC. Also, if you're like me, you can't be more proud of where we are right now as a community and what these two great institutions have done in this crazy year that is 2020. At the JCC, for example, we've handed out over 160,000 pounds of food to people in need, no questions asked, and also thousands and thousands of daily meals to kids who are missing out on that kind of thing in their daily school lunches. We're also providing childcare for children of first responders and all other families that need childcare and really don't have another place to go. 47 of the kids in our all-day childcare are also Jewish, so that's great. And at the JCC, we couldn't have really done all this without the assistance of the BJF. When COVID happened, they jumped right into action and started the COVID Emergency Relief Campaign. And that money has gone directly to helping the JCC and all it does. Now, I've talked enough and I got to get back to my work. So So here's Sam Dobrinsky and Lori Will to tell you a little bit more about the JCC and all that's going on.
I am Samantha Dobrinsky, and I am the Executive Director of the Levitt Jewish Community Center.
My name is Lori Wheel, and I'm a volunteer at the LJCC.
The LJCC's mission is to create community. The Federation allows us to have really high quality Jewish programming within every department of the JCC, from early childhood to even fitness and wellness to aquatics. The Federation supports us in our efforts for providing that programming.
There is a very important, thriving Jewish community in Birmingham, and the Birmingham Jewish Federation is very active in that community, and the community is very active in the Federation. And the LGCC is also one of the centerpieces of the Jewish community.
The Federation is important to Birmingham and especially the Jewish community because it is the fundraising powerhouse of the Jewish community and allows agencies to serve their clients in a variety of ways that they otherwise wouldn't be able to do without Federation support.
I thank you, Birmingham Jewish Federation, for all you do for our community as a whole and for the Jewish community.
We are really grateful for the Federation's significant funding of the JCC, and we couldn't do the great things that we do without it.
We are Ginger and Jerry Held, and Ginger and I are thrilled to have been asked to speak about Susan Goldberg and why the Federation gives this award annually to a volunteer. Susan was one of our dearest and closest friends, together with her family, and she was a blessing to all who knew her.
Susan and Edward moved to Birmingham in 1977 as a married couple. She immersed herself in organizations and agencies that she truly believed in. She often told people that she loved this community because it opened its arms to she and Edward. Susan didn't wait to be asked to participate. She volunteered. Her parents instilled in her a sense of responsibility and giving back, the same ideals she and Edward have passed on to their children, Mark, Robin, and Allison. Susan's volunteer spirit touched so many of us in this community through her leadership as president of Hadassah, the Annie Miles Jewish Day School, and the Birmingham Jewish Federation. Also, she was a participant in the early years of Leadership Birmingham. This Jewish community and her love for Israel definitely motivated her to serve, and she was actually president of the Federation when she passed away in August 2005. Susan made a lasting impact on so many of our agencies, a beautiful spirit with strong convictions, the highest integrity, passionate, and always willing to give of her time and of her financial resources. Susan motivated and inspired others to join her in making our Jewish community the best it can be. She would be so happy today to see the infusion of energy and enthusiasm by our young adults.
The Federation wanted to continue to link Susan's memory with our community and began giving this award in 2006. It is for a seasoned leader who demonstrates Susan's qualities of leadership and someone who makes a lasting impact on our community through their volunteer service. It is a real honor to have your name linked to this beautiful soul. Tonight, we are honoring our 15th recipient of the Susan Goldberg Distinguished Leadership Award, and Ginger and I are proud to celebrate another well-deserved honoree, Fran Godshaw.
Hello everyone, my name is Scott Gaccio, and I am here today to introduce the best and only mom I have ever had. When I was told the wonderful news that my mom had won the Susan J. Goldberg Distinguished Volunteer Award, and I was being given the honor of introducing her, I was both excited and intrigued. I needed to find out exactly what this prestigious award really meant. I find out that Susan Goldberg was not only an innovative leader, she was also known for creating a loving and caring environment for both her immediate and extended community members. As soon as I found out this information, I knew why my mom had won. My mom is a multifaceted person of many talents, including making her son feel very guilty when he doesn't call. But let me start by introducing her as a career woman of 40 plus years. While she graduated law school way before I came on the scene, her entire career has been in economic development. Now, my mom recently retired from professional life in downtown development, including over 20 years in our beloved city of Birmingham. Not that you'd know she retired from the number of Zoom meetings I still have to provide tech support on. During her time in Birmingham, she has served as the Senior Vice President and Interim President of Operation New Birmingham and as Rev's Senior Vice President. If you spend time wandering around downtown, you'll see her influence left and right. From the Alabama Theater, the Lyric Theater, the Florentine, the Pizitz, the FBI Building, Railroad Park, and many of the lofts, restaurants, hotels, and businesses, you are seeing the impact my mom has had on downtown. In fact, my mom even headlined on the Lyric Theater's billboard at her retirement party, celebrating 20 fantastic years. I think it is safe to say my mom understands how to build a community and bring people together. I joked earlier about how you couldn't tell my mom had retired, and this joke has more than just a grain of truth. Over the years, my mom has been president of Kalat Jewish Family Services, on the executive committee of Birmingham Holocaust Education Center, headed workforce development for Hillel Connections, served as co-chair of the Mayor's Diversity Task Force, and as the Leadership Birmingham co-chair, was the president of Women's Network and president of Forum. Additionally, she served on the boards of Temple Emmanuel, the Grafman Endowment Board, the Rabbi Search Committee, Auburn Center for Design, YWCA, Kiwanis, and much more. She was recognized by Birmingham Business Journal as a top 10 woman in Birmingham. I see my mom working the same hours and still pouring her heart and soul into projects every day. The only difference is now, instead of getting a paycheck, she gets compensated by Lador Vador, building a better community that I, and all of the next generation, is proud to be a part of. In conclusions, my mom's very justifiable bonus this year comes in the form of recognition for all the hard work she has put forth as a volunteer in building a lasting and sustainable community and honoring Susan Goldberg's memory.
Thank you, Scott. You make your mama proud. Congratulations to fellow award winner Issa Dorsky. I'm humbled and honored by this prestigious award and thank the Birmingham Jewish Federation and those that nominated me. I not only knew Susan Goldberg, we were neighbors. I can still feel her essence as that passionate, all-in community volunteer. She was an inspiration then and remains a shining light now. Volunteering is truly a team sport, and I'm surrounded by the dream team. For those of you that know me, I stay busy and involved. Yet 2018 was a pivotal year. As Scott mentioned, for 40 years, I toiled not in the desert, but in economic development. My job at ONB and Rev was to make the city center the #1 choice for business, living, the arts, healthcare, and entertainment. When I came in '98, it was not yet cool to be in the city center, but over that next 20 years, we worked tirelessly on job growth and capital investment. We had a vision, and that success was carried out through strategic partnerships with the city and pioneering developers, entrepreneurs, dreamers, risk takers, many of whom are an integral part of our Jewish community. If I developed an expertise, it was learning to connect those dots. Relationships and outreach were my thing. Though I am not a mechanical engineer, building bridges to a vibrant and sustainable community was and is my life's goal. Hence, you get involved. In addition to working full-time, I fully embrace my time with Leadership Birmingham, the Mayor's Diversity Task Force, YWCA, CJFS, JCRC, Momentum, the Women's Network, Forum, and Kiwanis, all with a common mission to encourage city growth and build a strong, inclusive, diverse community. So in 2018, after 40 years of nonstop activity, the question I needed to answer was, am I retiring? No. Instead, I chose to graduate from career life and transition to the next stage, volunteer and pay it forward. My first jumping off point was with the Hillel Connections program, started by our own Roxanne Travalut and Mike Honan. They gave birth to this terrific initiative in the summer of 2018 to help UA Bloom Hillel students develop connections and networking opportunities in Birmingham through summer internships, mentors, host families, and programs designed to create a welcoming Jewish community. Ideal concept to staunch brain drain of our best and brightest. Keep Birmingham and Alabama on their radar screen for post-graduation employment. Imagine job creation, workforce development, economic development. I was in and hooked. This initiative unlocked the why of my long-standing economic development career, particularly my small part to build a better Birmingham. Hillel Connections allowed me to focus on what Jewish Birmingham could look like now and in the future. Hence, I got actively involved with the Holocaust Education Center, particularly in their relocation efforts, and with Temple Emmanuel through the Rabbi Search Committee, Temple Circles, and Grafman and Temple boards. Common themes of education, engagement, and transformation. While it is true that we stand on the shoulders of the ones who came before us, we must realize in this moment of time, we are squarely in an intersection where status quo meets opportunity. We are blessed to have new, dynamic young leadership at the helm of many of our Jewish organizations. And when you combine this with the experience and wisdom of our entire Jewish leadership team, we can and must encourage conversation that capitalizes on our community assets and executes on our priorities. Danny Cohn is one of those dynamic new strategic thinking leaders, the new sheriff in town of our umbrella organization for central fundraising, community relations, and community development. I am passionately embracing looking at the opportunities before us through a strong, vibrant, and sustainable Jewish community. Yet it struck me recently that when anti-Semitism raises its ugly head, the perpetrators don't ask, "Are you affiliated? Are you a member of this temple or that synagogue?" No. We are one in their eyes, and together we stand tall and indomitable. So how do we get to community discussions of the opportunities that lay ahead of us? I'll say this for COVID. The only silver lining has been a chance to reflect. It has certainly put us in the crosshairs of re-examining the way we conduct business personally and professionally. Back to basics and priorities. Life has changed, but we must create that community table for a positive change and path forward. We need innovative conversations about fundraising, real estate, education, interfaith programs, community relations, marketing, and community development. Danny has 4 C words to carry out his blueprint: communication, convention, collaboration, and creation. I'll add my own spin to the 4 C words: connections, children, consensus, and community. I've spent my life building bridges, making connections for our children, Lador, Vador, trying to reach a consensus to create a welcoming community for all to participate. City growth, vibrancy, and engagement for long-term sustainability and a promising future were the watchwords of my economic development career and now echo in volunteer mode. Let us be change agents together. Socrates perhaps said it best. Change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. I hope to see you at that community table for a bright and exciting Jewish Birmingham for this generation and generations to come. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce the Birmingham Holocaust Education Center, or the BHEC for short. The BHEC educates not just the people of Alabama, but also, in part because of funding from the Federation, people of the world about the history of the Holocaust. As the number of Holocaust survivors quickly dwindles, continuing education about the atrocities of the Holocaust will become even more important to ensure history doesn't repeat itself. We are fortunate to have such an important organization as a part of our community, and I'm proud the Birmingham Jewish Federation plays a role in this important work.
My name is Joni Wiley, and I work at the Birmingham Holocaust Education Center, and I am the Communication, Events, and Program Coordinator. Our mission is to educate the people of Alabama about the history of the Holocaust so that new generations will be able to apply these lessons of the Holocaust to construct a more just and humane and tolerant future. BAGC seeks to promote a moral and ethical response to prejudice, hatred, indifference, and benefit for all of humanity. The Birmingham Jewish Federation has provided funding as well as support to the Birmingham Holocaust Education Center, and so this has allowed us to expand our programming so that we are able to impact the entire Birmingham community. Last year we received some funding from the Birmingham Jewish Federation that allowed us to enhance as well as increase our teacher workshops, and also annually the BJF has also provided support for our community commemoration of Yom HaShoah. That is a Holocaust Remembrance Day, and it commemorates the 6 million Jewish people who perished in the Holocaust. The funding has allowed us to take our programming online so that we are actually expanding who we are reaching out to, and so we've had people attend our programming from other countries and other states, and that wouldn't have happened without the Federation. Thank you so much to the Birmingham Jewish Federation.
For those being installed today as board members and officers, it's important to understand your responsibilities in the context of the mission of the Birmingham Jewish Federation in the world we live in today, which is not the world we lived in 6 months ago or the world we lived in last year or in years past. As I thought about this installation, I reread a speech I gave to Leadership Birmingham in January 1986 on the Jewish community of Birmingham. During my talk to that class, I described our organizational structure, our community's issues and concerns, and our mutual interest in the future leadership of this great city we're blessed to live in. I told the Leadership Birmingham class that being Jewish was not a lucky break, but a sacred responsibility, that we were then and are today one people with one destiny, and that responsibility, which you assume today, means that we have a moral imperative to shelter every Jew who is homeless, feed every Jew who is hungry, honor every Jew who is aged, and rescue every Jew who is in danger. I also told them that when we say we are one people with one destiny, we also meant that in the context of our city, that we too are one people with one destiny. We're vitally interested with all people of goodwill that make up the patchwork of our community in the success of the leadership of this city, that like them, we believe that our freedom and our wealth and our education are nothing if our hands are weak and our hearts are small and our vision is dim, that our jobs as leaders, as you are and will be during your service on this board, will be to create a just and decent society and make a difference in this world. That as Jews, we have a sense of destiny in the history and greatness of this Jewish community and the Jewish people, but we share that destiny and belief with each of them in the future of this city. Having chosen to wear the mantle of leadership, we need to talk, but more importantly to listen, to make sure that we understand each other, because in our tender hands, we hold the future of our communities. Chazak, chazak, v'net chazek, be strong, and we shall strengthen each other. So as I install each of you tonight, cloaked with the mantle of leadership, I am confident that you'll bring your unique and important leadership skills to this great federation so that at the end of your term, as we reflect on your accomplishments, it will be said of each of you that you were people whose lives made a difference. I have the honor today of installing the board of directors and officers of the Birmingham Jewish Federation. But first, I'd like to recognize and thank the outgoing board and officers. We are grateful for your service and dedication to this federation. The following have successfully concluded their terms as board members and officers: Jahan Burns, Jimmy Filler, and Josh Mandel. I thank you, congratulate you, and discharge you of your duties. It's now time to present to you the new board of directors and officers of the Birmingham Jewish Federation. I'd first like to recognize those individuals who are continuing to serve as board members: Barbara Aylen, Jack Aylen, Robin Bromberg, Stephen Kornblum, Gary Cutter, Lisa Engel, Rachel Friedman, Hillary Gawant, Scott Gawant, Nancy Gerticke, Jerry Held, Ginger Held, John Kimmerling, Cheryl Kimmerling, Randy Landy, Ron Levitt, Daniel O'Drazen, Richard Pazich Jr., Ben Rosenbaum, Amy Sag, Andy Sag, Carly Stein Somerville, Jesse Unkenholtz, and Justin Weintraub. Thank you, and we look forward to your continued dedication to the Birmingham Jewish Federation. Now I'll read the names of our new board members and officers. Officers are Barbara Aylen, Fundraising Vice President, Amy Sag, President-elect, and the new board members of Savannah Copeland, Joel Piazzik, Michael Routman, and Sarah Schaefer. You're hereby installed as new board members and officers of the Federation. Congratulations to all of you.
Hear that? That is a Gawant miracle. 3 kids, 2 dogs, in silence. How can we make the world a better place? This has been the Birmingham Jewish Foundation's goal since its inception 40 years ago. We should be celebrating our milestone birthday in person, if I had my way with cake and ice cream. However, 2020 had other plans for us. Nevertheless, we have much to be proud of, and our successes abound. While this year has been challenging, it has also reminded us what is important: being grateful when we and our families wake up each morning, treasuring visits with family and friends, having the ability to help those in need, and taking pride in the strong and vibrant community we have built. The theme of this year's annual report is a quote from Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs. Ours is a journey begun by our ancestors, to be continued by our children. Our annual report contains a timeline of some of the grants our many donors have helped us provide. Through their generosity, the Foundation has made the world a better place. But there is still more work to be done. We must continue to ask and find new creative ways to answer the question, how can we make the world a better place? The Foundation is our tool for implementing charitable goals, continuing to help others, and ultimately help ourselves. This year's annual report reflects the priorities we have always had as a community: caring for those in need, educating our young, enriching Jewish life here and abroad, and reaching out to our neighbors. We can and we are making the world a better place. Connecting with others and getting services to those in need has not been easy in 2020. Our community and our wonderful partner agencies have had to find new ways to fulfill their missions. Doing this required a new level of collaboration and coordination. The Foundation is proud to have played a role in helping the Federation, CJFS, the LJCCC, the Day School, and the BHEC face these difficult times, working together with them to find creative solutions and continue making our community and our world a better place. I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to thank Sally, Janet, and Carol for their tireless efforts in leading the Foundation. Also, my sincere appreciation goes out to the Foundation Board. You give of your time and talents to grow our endowments and maintain our momentum into the future. Without all of you, my job would be much harder. Thank you. As we go through this most unusual year, we are reminded that community is more important than ever. In the words of Rabbi Avraham Kook, the legendary Ashkenazi chief rabbi of British Mandate Palestine, in times of darkness, righteous people seek to add light. At the Birmingham Jewish Foundation, we will continue our mission. We will add light to the world, and we will make the world a better place. Go on. Go make the world a better place. Go.
Collat Jewish Family Services enhances quality of life and strengthens independence for individuals and families, with a primary focus on older adults, by providing exceptional support services in accordance with Jewish values. This next video highlights the Federation's impact on CJFS.
I'm Lauren Schwartz. I'm the Executive Director at Collat Jewish Family Services.
Hi, I'm Susie Oveson. I'm a client of CJFS.
Our primary role or mission is to help people stay independent and enrich their quality of life. We do serve the entire community, both Jewish and non-Jewish, and we're very proud of that.
During this whole Corona thing, they call and check on us if we need anything. So we know we're not forgotten.
The Federation really has been a convener and a leader and a fundraiser for the community. They are our single largest funder and enable us to really have the backbone for what we do and give us the capacity to continue to grow and change.
The best thing I know is what they're doing right now when nobody can go to the grocery store and nobody has fresh vegetables and fruit, and they are seeing that we are taken care of. And this whole community here, my community, is so grateful. And it's wonderful. And I just can't thank them enough.
CJFS is incredibly grateful to the Federation for all they do, for their continued funding, for having the vision to recognize that there will always be human need in our community, and to help build an organization like CJFS and the other community agencies that really enhance Jewish life for our community and ensure that Jewish life can continue to meet the needs of everyone who is here.
Thank you all for joining us this evening, and a special thank you to the Birmingham Jewish Foundation for their partnership and for helping underwrite a portion of today's program. I would also like to congratulate Issa Dorsky and Fran Godshow for their well-deserved awards. Family and friends of each recipient have set up funds at the Birmingham Jewish Foundation for those wishing to pay tribute. They are the Issa Dorsky LJCC Kitchen and Jewish Delicacies Fund and the Fran Godshaw Building Bridges Community Fund. Now on to business. This has been a busy year for the Birmingham Jewish Federation. From the retirement of our longtime director, Richard Friedman, in December, to my arrival in March, and now to the end of summer, the Federation has been evolving to meet the current needs of our community. One would think that a current pandemic would be a detractor in our efforts, but I am proud to say that the staff and lay leadership of the Federation and its partner agencies have continued to push forward during these unprecedented times to ensure the health and well-being of our community and the greater Birmingham community. When the pandemic hit in March, the Federation instantly became the convener of our Jewish communal institutions. Together with our agencies and synagogues, we held daily briefing calls for the first 3 months to ensure that every aspect of our community was working together. Currently, our agency heads meet weekly to discuss the community needs and how we can best support each other, with a monthly meeting involving the rabbinic staff and lay leaders of each organization. The collaborative effort shown by our Jewish community during these unprecedented times has blown me away, and I continue to say and believe that we are indeed stronger together. I want to be clear, it hasn't just been meetings. The Birmingham Jewish Federation has continued to operate at high speed, and tonight I will give you some of the highlights by the numbers. One new CEO. After a 9-month interview process, I am proud to report that I joined the Birmingham Jewish Federation family March 8th, 2020. Two new communication vehicles. We have continued to expand our marketing efforts. This year, we added a weekly newsletter and an Instagram handle. Follow us on Instagram at Jewish Birmingham. And if you aren't receiving our weekly newsletters, drop me a line. Three revitalized programs. Women's Philanthropy, the Jewish Community Relations Council, and You Belong in Birmingham. The JCRC is up and running after more than a 10-year hiatus and brings together representatives from all of our Jewish institutions to inform and educate through its subcommittees on Israel, anti-Semitism, interfaith relations, and the Black-Jewish dialogue. Because of the importance of attracting and retaining young adults to Birmingham, the Federation has put special emphasis behind the You Belong in Birmingham program, offering a myriad of avenues for engagement for those 21 to 40. Lastly, look for exciting quarterly programming from the Women's Philanthropy coming to an inbox near you. 4 new board members who you have just seen installed. 14 program allocation. This year, your dollars went to support the Collat Jewish Family Services, the Annie Miles Jewish Day School, the Levitt JCC, the Birmingham Holocaust Educational Center, Hillel at U of A and Auburn, BBYO, the Jewish War Veterans, the Anti-Defamation League, the American Jewish Committee, the Jewish Community Relations Council, You Belong in Birmingham, Israel Connections, and the Israel World Jewish Bureau, which in itself went to support more than 15 organizations overseas. 25 Shabbat greetings from me to you. Though the pandemic has kept us apart, I hope that these weekly messages have allowed you to get to know me better, and I look forward to the time when we can gather as a community to sit and learn more about each other. 150 members of You Belong in Birmingham. Right now, our You Belong in Birmingham has grown to encompass this number of young Jewish adults in the Birmingham community. We have also made a new hire in Sarah Weinberger to lead this program. Since she began 6 weeks ago, she has already executed 3 virtual programs and is partnering with all of the synagogues for a You Belong in Birmingham young adult Rosh Hashanah picnic, socially distanced, of course. 170 families engaged in PJ Library. This program serves young families from birth to age 9 through books and educational materials. At 170 active families, Birmingham has the highest concentration per capita of any community involved in the project nationally. During the pandemic, we were able to deliver Shabbat and Camp in a Bag programming to these families, and because of its success, the Birmingham Jewish Federation has been awarded a national grant from the Harold Grinspoon Foundation to continue the In the Bag series over the next year. 270 Zoom calls with donors, partners, and programming. I actually think it's higher, but honestly, I've lost count. 635 families contributing to our annual campaign. More on that later. $150,000 raised for communal COVID relief, benefiting the United Way, CJFS, the BHEC, Temple Bethel, Knesset Israel, the LJCC, and Annie Miles Jewish Day School. These dollars paid for Wi-Fi to serve underserved students that could come to the LJCC campus to get work done, helped pay for food, rent, and pharmacy items, and allowed for institutional preservation as well as outreach to our senior community so that they felt inclusion from their religious institutions while being homebound during the pandemic. And lastly, $2 million. $2 million is our goal for this year's annual campaign, chaired by Barbara and Jack Ayland. I am pleased to share with you to date we are at 75% to goal, with a card-for-card increase of 5%. Also worth noting, Next Generation Giving is up 40%, and we have received 41 new gifts. All of this in the midst of a pandemic. There is still time to get your pledge in. If you have your card at home, I humbly ask that you mail it in as soon as possible, as we would like to close the campaign at goal by high holidays later this month. I would like to briefly speak about what the future holds. On the docket is more collaborative programming with our agencies and religious institutions. The BJF will also be embarking on its first strategic plan in more than 2 decades. Additionally, this quarter, we will be rolling out a new enhanced community calendar and an updated website, while beginning to work on a new young adult leadership and youth philanthropy program while transforming our allocations process that will better fulfill the growing needs of our community. Next Saturday marks my 6-month anniversary in Birmingham. I want to close by thanking you. Thank you for entrusting me to lead this very special and vibrant community. While no one could have imagined the circumstances, it has been my honor to serve each and every one of you, and I look forward to the years ahead as we work together building a stronger community and ensuring it for generations to come. Speaking of generations to come, it is my pleasure to introduce the last video of the evening, a look into the Annie Miles Jewish Day School.
My name is Rebecca Weinberger, and I'm the Director of Advancement at the Annie Miles Jewish Day School.
My name is Aaliyah Carter, and I am the Math and Science teacher at the Annie Miles Jewish Day School.
The Annie Miles Jewish Day School is a private K-8 school that integrates Judaic and Hebrew with regular general studies.
The day school is pretty cool in the sense that there's a whole bunch of small class sizes, which allows teachers to know the students individually. And then if a student stays here from kindergarten through 8th grade, they know all the teachers, and so they have this good support system that when they leave the school, they can rely back on. And I think listening to graduates at the day school, it's made such an impression on their lives, and it's prepared them for the world in a unique perspective that I don't think they could get anywhere else.
The Birmingham Jewish Federation gives annual scholarship funds to the Annie Miles Jewish Day Schools, so any family that wants to come here can. We have families who need financial support now more than ever, and it's because of the Jewish Federation that we are able to offer that to our families, and we're very grateful for that. Thank you, Birmingham Jewish Federation, for your support.
I opened with Rabbi Heschel, and I will close with him as well. In his later years, he stated, "When I was young, I used to admire intelligent people. As I grow older, I admire kind people." Yes, kindness is what the Federation and all of our agencies and synagogues are all about. This is a hard time. We are unable to gather together, hug each other, say in person, "I care." But I see us rising up each and every day as a Jewish community, giving of our time, our talents, our resources, because we care. So please know that you can reach out if you are ever in need. We are your safety net. We are your steady foundation. And we are the warm hug you long to feel. You will always be met with genuine kindness, because that's who we are and what we do. Thank you for joining us in kindness, for always responding when we ask for help, and for being an important part of our caring federation and community. Thank you for participating today, and I wish you and your families continued safety and good health.